It's Dodge the Question time!
I expect this will be a very short answer, so I'll do it now rather than later. You've seen the Nebraska court decision, so I'm assuming you're ready to release the results of the review into the Keystone pipeline. Now that
No, but since you gave
obstacle has been removed.
Since you gave me the opportunity, and I know we haven't talked about this in a while, let me just give a quick summary of kind of where things stand. So last April, as we talked about then, in light of over 2.5 million comments from the public and uncertainty created by litigation in Nebraska, we gave the 8 federal agencies specified in the executive order more time to submit their views on whether the proposed Keystone pipeline serves the national interest. At the same time, we've continued to work on the matter. Our process isn't starting over. We now, as Matt mentioned, have, of course, a decision by the Nebraska Supreme Court that has the result of upholding the pipeline route approved by the governor. So the next step is to request that the agencies complete their consideration of whether the proposed project serves the national interest and provide their views to the department. That will, of course, be factored into the national interest determination, which is what ultimately...
Time out. Obama's already said he's going to veto it if it was approved by the Senate and the House, which it now has been.
At some appropriate time, the Secretary will issue.
Well,
that's the process.
But you'd already... The review is essentially complete.
No, it was not. No, it was not complete. It was paused.
It was paused, but it had been operating on the assumption that it was the existing route, the existing planned route.
Well, we didn't know what the outcome of the court case would be. So
surely the review is proceeded far enough.
Nail them, dude.
On the basis of what the old...
She won't answer. She'll obfuscate.
Current route is, so that it's not going to be another 6, 8 months.
Well, I don't have a timeline for you, but as I mentioned,
years.
obviously a factor here is the input of the 8 agencies, which will be taken into account in the issuing of the national interest determination.
Yeah,
So you're saying that how long is the review going to take then? I don't understand.
I don't have the agencies will
obviously
be given a sufficient and reasonable amount of time to provide their input, but I don't have an assessment on the amount of time at this point.
Yeah, it's already been 2 years.
How close to complete was the review before there was a pause?
Well, there are several components of the review. The agency input is not something we have at this point to review.
Okay.
Well, but shouldn't they be able to do that relatively quickly, since it's now the route has been affirmed to be the route that they were doing the work on in the first place?
No, we're seeing the process through. At some appropriate time soon, we'll indicate to the agencies how much time they'll have to provide their input.
Well, the reason that I'm harping on this is
it went to court. How much more time did the agencies have before this matter went to court?
It doesn't work exactly that way, Roz. It was up to 90 days, but that should give their input, but that wasn't a deadline on when the national interest determination was.
It's been 2 years.
And in particular, the administration as a whole, but in particular the State Department, which is in charge of the review, has been accused by some people of deliberately stalling.
No, it's called obfuscation, dude.
And if you're saying now that the removal of the obstacle to completing the review doesn't mean that it can be done, it can be completed quickly, I think you're probably just going to add,
we'll obviously move to the next stage of this, which is certainly what we expected.
Which is
receiving the input of the 8 agencies. That's the stage we'll be at, and we'll see the
Somebody needs to introduce shampoo to this chick's hair.
Is there a deadline for them to submit their input?
We'll be in touch soon with the agencies to give them a timeline on when we'll need their input back.
After Obama's
I don't have that to outline.
out of office.
Could it be as long as, the end of November 2016?
I'm not going to predetermine that.
Good job,
I don't
dude.
anticipate that.
Good job.
So you fully expect that it will be Secretary Kerry, barring some unforeseen, but Secretary Kerry will be the one who actually makes the recommendation on the national interest.
That is how the executive order is written. Yes.
Future Secretary of State.
Yes, but we're seeing the process through, and that's the stage we're in at this point.
This guy's the AP reporter, and he puts a smack on her every chance he gets.
Does that affect the review at all?
Well, I think the White House is spoken to this. But regardless of the ruling, the House bill, in their view, still conflicts, in our view, the administration's view, with longstanding executive branch procedures regarding the authority of the president. That's why they've indicated, or my colleague over at the White House indicated earlier this week, what the president's intentions would be.
So King
We're
Barack.
continuing this process. We'll see it through. And that's where we are at this point in time.
So none of that has changed. Like, I mean, what Congress is pushing through and what the president has said and what the court ruling has come through doesn't make you feel that you need to hasten this review and get this thing over with.
King
Well,
Barack.
I think we certainly understand the interest, I guess I'll put it that way, from both opponents and supporters
Obfuscate.
of the Keystone Pipeline, but we have a responsibility to see the process through. It was written in a certain way, so that's what we're doing at the State Department.
Yeah. Continue to
Opposite way,
obfuscate.
regardless of what's happening on Capitol Hill, the process of getting the agency review continues unabated. The people who are supposed to provide this input are expected to just ignore this separate piece of legislation and just do their work based on whatever timeline is established.
Yes, we're proceeding with the process. Yes, and also I'd note the bill hasn't yet
process.
passed. The White House has just indicated what they would do if it were to.
Hey,
Is it understood?
Chick, don't forget to
Is it
use at the end of the day
explicitly
statement.
among those people in these agencies who are supposed to provide this information that they're not supposed to now just sit on their work, that they
It will
need
be
to pick up?
it will be properly communicated, and I think we've been clear, and the White House has been clear on that as well, Roz. But we've not given a timeline at this point in time yet. This court case just was ruled on this morning.
But he's
But
already
but
said
talking
that he's
specifically
gonna
about the
fucking
congressional
veto
legislation,
it.
They should not look at that process as an excuse.
We've been
to
clear
not
that we are going to see the
do their
process
work.
through. The process requires, or requests, I should say, the input of 8 agencies that will be taken into account in the national interest determination. Do we have any more on Keystone, or should we move on? Okay.
Obfuscate.